Hey everyone, we're talking all things personal injury law today. And we're here with John Walner. Welcome, John. And we're here at a beautiful day in Chicago in the Fortress Studios. And we're excited to have you here again. Today, what's exciting is we're going to talk about, maybe not always exciting, but accident law with truck accidents. So maybe if you could just tell us a little bit, right off the bat, what is truck accident law? Tell us more about that.
First, in any time there's a motor vehicle, a regular passenger vehicle that's in an accident with a large truck, a semi-trailer truck, 18-wheeler, there's going to be devastating consequences, horrible injuries or death. As you know, there's about 500,000 truck accidents a year, large truck hitting passenger vehicles, and there's about 5,000 deaths in the United States per year as a result of large truck accidents. That is a truck accident in the United States with a passenger vehicle about every 15 minutes right now in the United States. As a personal injury lawyer, what we see from a truck accident is horrible injuries and unfortunately death. It never results in a small injury, and you're always dealing with the families that are devastated from these accidents. One of the first cases in my career, I started practicing law in 1987, was a man was a jeweler in Chicago. He was from India, and he brought his family over here, and he was selling wholesale diamonds in the United States, in his office out of Chicago. He went to work, and there was a national holiday that he didn't realize, and no one was there, and he's coming home from the office. He's going on the I-290 westbound to his house, and an 18-wheeler to his truck moved over to the left lane, just swerved over to the left lane where we were, hit him, killed him. He left behind he was supporting a large family. He had owned farms of tea in India. He had a huge diamond business from India and Belgium. He had like 200 employees. He was supporting a large extended family. And when we looked at the truck driver had his CDL for maybe a year, a commercial driver's license. And commercial driver's licenses are issued by the states where you live. It's not the federal government doesn't issue these licenses, but anytime you get a CDL, you have to have better physical conditioning than an average driver. There's a heightened level of knowledge that you are charged with to give a CDL. You have to be physically able, mentally more acute than a passenger vehicle. You have to have skills and expertise because you have a duty to other people on the road to be safe because you are driving such a big rig, an 18-wheeler. That was devastating. So what we learned in this case is, according to the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Act, you have to keep records on when your hours you sleep. You have to be physically able to drive, be free of controlled substances, alcohol, but most important is sleeping and working on and off hours, okay? So, because you have to have a mentally acute, physically condition to provide safety for all those other people on the road. So when we looked at this gentleman's records, he had been working like 15 hours a day for like 5 days in a row, barely any sleep. And that's the first time that I came across what a horror show, just the company that allowed him to be on the road with this, with his hours, untenable amount of hours. How could he pay attention on the road and have the safety and welfare of others were not on his mind, or he didn't care. It's like, you have to pick up a load, bring it somewhere, and the drive for money and the profits, that maybe he was under. I can't attest to, the pressure he was under to deliver this, but his lack of sleep showed that he had the drive to make money without, worrying about the safety, welfare of others in his community.
So one of the things is this is a really big question and a pretty broad question, but how is liability determined in a truck accident?
Okay. How's liability determined in an 18-wheeler truck accident with mostly the only thing I've had in my office is with regular passenger automobiles, okay? Or small vans. So the police immediately on the scene do an investigation, whether it be they do a thorough investigation of if there was braking, they measure the skid marks. They do a lot of measurements. Of everything. They look at debris fields, measurement of where all the cars are. They talk to witnesses, but most importantly, they do when there's a large truck accident. They take a more aggressive and detailed approach to their investigation of what happened, and mostly where the lawyers, the plaintiff's lawyers, we're looking out for the injuries or deaths to the family, how we can be a benefit and help them in this loss, is that the initial report we do see is from the police that sketched out the whole thing. And if we can get the family comes to us fast enough or soon enough for help, the cry for help to the lawyer, is what we immediately do is we hire the best expert we can in the field that deals with large truck accidents, what it's called a reconstruction expert. And we're blessed to have them on our side because the over-the-road truckers, the 18-wheelers, their insurance companies are gigantic, and they'll hire their own experts that'll always defend the truck drivers. It is the most important thing for a company to keep their drivers on the road. These are goods and services that are being used by all Americans, whether it be air conditioning parts or food or anything that's being delivered off the road. Over-the-road truckers have, the consumers need these goods. The companies, there's billions of dollars of goods flowing across our country. So to keep the goods moving on the road is their primary importance.
Yeah.
But the safety, welfare of others has to be an overriding concern tantamount to desire to get goods in service, to get the goods to people all over the United States, whether it be medical supplies to hospitals or food or hardware that all require 18-wheelers or large tractor trailers. They will hire aggressive accident reconstructionists themselves to say they did nothing wrong. So their Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration doesn't put a black mark against them or take away a CDL and reduce an owner-operator's amount of drivers or taking tractors off the road. So what we do immediately is hire an accident reconstructionist. They'll fly a drone over the entire field for us. We'll of course do written protective orders that they can't move this truck. They can't do anything with the truck. We have to have our expert come see it at wherever it is. Do not destroy any videos. We say do not destroy any records that related to the driver's CDL, controlled substances, his entire employment record, his daily journal of sleeping and driving and the stops he took. So we immediately file suit to protect any and all records that there are. That's video, which all truck drivers now have. They have these videos that you can get, and they have GPS tracking devices in these trucks that you can download. And from the passenger cars, we can download from the data recorders in the vehicle, like what happened at the time of impact. So yes, there's a tremendous amount of investigation that goes into these cases.
That's a good segue into what is the most challenging part of a truck accident litigation? I mean, is it working with the insurance companies? Is it having the right evidence? I mean, what makes it the most challenging when you look at these type of cases?
To be honest, in all cases, investigation is the most important. In all cases, like you just mentioned, having the evidence on your side is utmost importance, and quickly getting that evidence to win the case on behalf of your clients, of course, is the most important. But in truck accidents, especially, I'm glad you brought this up today, is the onus is the balance of power between owners of trucking companies and like if it's Walmart puts all their goods and services into a trailer and they hire an owner-operated tractor to bring it somewhere. Think about there could be Sony TVs on the van. It's going, on the trailer. And Walmart, it's going to a Walmart store. And there's an X company that packed all the goods onto this trailer. And then there's the tractor driver that's taking this trailer somewhere. You have so many people, and there's so many layers of responsibility that goes into an accident that this tiny plaintiff, our client, is going against huge companies. It could be Sony TV, the packaging company, Walmart. Like J.B. Hunt's a big carrier. You could be going against a company that's publicly traded that has 5,000 employees. So it's a war.
Yeah.
Truck accident litigation is a war. There could be a tire defect on the truck. So now you have, or the van, the trailer could be improperly loaded and balanced. Of course, you have the driver, fatigue, competence, violation of controlled substances, alcohol abuse. So you are fighting this huge battle. And when does this take place? Why do you need a personal injury lawyer on your side? Because the battle takes place in that first week to get all the evidence as fast as you can before it could be hidden, destroyed, taken away from you. To avoid a 4-year battle in courts, you could win this case in the first week with hard work. Hiring Walner Law, we were experiencing this. We've been doing this since 1961. We have tremendous amount of investigators that work for us in reconstruction, professionals that have been trained by the best schools and police departments. That we have tremendous amount of resources through our experts to get this case won in the first week. This is when you must attack this case with vigor and professionalism and expertise and years of training. So truck accident litigation is a much larger mountain than just two cars.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. Like we talked about evidence, and a big part of that is even having witnesses available. So let's say it's a non-life-threatening accident with a truck. What should somebody do in order to find that witness? Or is that something that you will seek out and find witnesses? Or is it better the consumer tries to find who was at that scene when the police are called? Tell us a little bit more about that, because I know witnesses are important.
First of all, let's not put the onus on the person that's a victim of extreme negligence to do anything. Let the lawyer help our clients in the investigation. So we're not, obviously, at the scene of the accident, the police department, competent police department, investigative service, whether it's the state troopers or local police officers, it's their duty to investigate it immediately. Are there witnesses? Yeah. Were there observers? Were there video? They'll usually go to a videotape off of a store or a business to see if it captured this accident. And also there's videos on these trucks that could be downloaded, and the police could also look at these. But in a trucking accident, like we talked about before, was this a balanced load? Who witnessed the condition of the driver before the accident? Who saw the load, this vehicle being loaded? Who saw the condition of the tires? Who saw the mechanical condition between the tractor and the trailer to see if the brake lights were working, to see if the running lights were working? And so we would immediately go to where that trailer was loaded. Now, those are witnesses. How did the load leave the dock? Yeah. Who saw that happen? Who looked at the person's medical records, their driving records? Who was there when the driver got into the tractor? Who was there when the trailer was packed and loaded? Who witnessed it? So you can go to the place where this load came from, and you can meet a lot of witnesses. Now, those are great witnesses. who could attest to a lot of things that would go into how this accident took place. Of course, there's way stations that 18-wheelers have to go to, and we can get videotapes from on the sky or at way stations to see what was this tractor and trailer doing? Like, what was the speed of it before this happened? So we've been in many accidents. I've been involved in many situations with 18-wheelers where all of these things I've just discussed have to be investigated.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about more about, I think the audience wants to know some of the cases that you have handled and what were the outcomes?
Right. Well, first I want to talk about if you look at the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, which is under the Department of Transportation, and you look at their statistics, they say that over 50% of large truck accidents occur on rural roads. And I want to talk to you about a case we had in the middle of the state of Indiana, just in a farmland, completely rural area. So a tractor trailer being driven by a young man, 25 years old, makes a left-hand turn right in front of our clients. Our clients were going about 65 miles an hour, and they went on their truck. The entire top of their car was sheared off, and resulting in tremendous life-changing injuries to my clients. And what we found is the driver was just so distracted and just humming along for like 30 miles of no buildings around him, no stores, nothing but farmland. And when we took his deposition, he said, I was distracted. Nothing was going on. I didn't see anyone. I wasn't paying attention to anything. And when I made the left-hand turn, I didn't even think about another car being there. I never would even think that there would be a car because I haven't seen a car. He said in his deposition he hadn't seen a car for 30 minutes.
Wow.
So you think about all these truck drivers in these rural roads humming along at 100 miles an hour, 90 miles an hour. Who knows what they're doing? All alone with no other cars. They're being cavalier and not paying attention. So I could see how, if that statistic is true and bears out, I can understand that.
Yeah.
But recently, we had a tow truck driver changing a tire on I-65 here outside of Chicago on the way to Indianapolis, and an 18-wheeler comes by and hits him as a pedestrian in the road, despite us having flares and guards behind the tow truck, and he took off both the guy's legs. And by the way, what is crazy is the truck kept going. It didn't stop. Okay, happens, right? They don't know what happened.
Yeah.
They hit something. They don't know what it is. Giving them the benefit of the doubt. But the tow truck had videos outside it, and we got a DOT number and a little logo off this tractor trailer, but it went by so fast we could barely see it. We asked the Indiana State Police to help us slice through the video to find out who was the responsible party, okay? And then they couldn't do it, so we hired a specialty firm out of San Francisco. It was like $7,000 a slice of a video to get down to find the logo and the DOT number to find out who caused this accident where our client lost both his legs. And once we got through the slices to find out who it was, we were able to track him, this truck going through the way stations and their travels along the road. And when we found the company and the GPS tracker, we found that this trucker was on the road for like 17 hours. We saw video that we captured from different places on the road. Now, once we knew where he was coming from, we have a little better idea because he has to register where he's going in certain places and the company has a GPS. He was driving erratically for miles before this accident. Despite like flares and hazards on the street, we saw him just swerve over in this lazy, reckless maneuver, taking the legs off of our client. So there's And I want to talk to you about another rural road truck accident. Not a rural road, like a 3 a.m. case with an 18-wheeler. He's going into a truck depot where many trucks stay for the night. Maybe 100 trucks go for the night. And it was on a small road in Chicago. And we were parked. We had the two brothers had parked. They were going to their house. Small, nothing road in Chicago. This truck came barreling in at 80 miles an hour and hit our client so hard that his head was severed off of his body.
Oh my God.
Like 80 miles an hour in a small rural road. Like in the middle of the morning, no lights. There's another thing where why should I pay attention? What's going on? But there's all different, types of liability in these 18-wheelers. But when an 18-wheeler hits a passenger vehicle, the results are devastating. You're not talking about a sore neck and back. Yeah. You're not talking about aches and pains. We're talking about loss of limbs, brain injury, and death. This is what happens with an 18-wheeler. That's why you have to have a commercial driver's license. That's why the Department of Transportation regulates almost everything a truck does. So the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. That we as drivers on the road should be blessed that there is the federal government overlooking, the truck drivers' actions in, their sleep and, testing them for drugs and alcohol before they get in the car or after an accident happens to remove these people from ever being able to drive on the road. So truck accident litigation is, you need to be an expert in this. You need to have the people around you that are experts in order for us to adequately and professionally represent our clients.
But yeah, I think that, the reality here is that accidents happen, but there's liability. And I think that the most important thing here is that you need to work with experts. And Walner Law provides the expert advice that you'll need. So I want to thank everybody for joining us again this month. And thank you, John Walner. Next month, we're going to talk about legal lending. And, just to, everybody understands how that process works. And John, of course, is going to be an expert on legal lending. So we're excited about that.